it's Shawnee. Welcome back. So today I just wanted to talk about some palettes that, like, I went through my palettes and I was like, those could be spring palettes. Now it's kind of hard because I don't necessarily wear certain palettes during certain seasons. I kind of just wear everything all the time. But I don't know. I was trying to challenge myself, and I don't know. These could be spring, these could be summer, these could be fall, winter, and everything in between. But I thought these have some colors that I think align with, like, spring. So I'll just tell you which ones that I picked out. Well, ones that I narrowed down from all the other ones that I picked out. First, though, let me tell you about this shirt. It's a little t-shirt from Etsy. And it says, hold on. My boyfriend is out of town. Why did that tickle me? I decided to get it because I saw that Drew Barrymore had it and she was explaining like how it came about, but she had worn either that same t-shirt or like a different one like decades ago for, I think, an award show or something. I was just like, this is so cool. So I went ahead and got it from Etsy. Love it. Okay, I actually really like shirts with different sayings. I have one that says main character energy, and one that says I speak fluent sarcasm. Anyway, let me tell you about some of the palettes that I thought, these could be, you know, springy. So I found a couple in what I have from Viseart. The first one is the Petit Four Framboise, which means strawberry. But strawberries are like summer fruit, right? I don't know. But if you want something super easy to do, or it will create an easy eye look for you, because it's just a little quad, and there's like dusty pink in there, like a dusty rose, and then you've got two shimmers. And so what I really like about these Viseart smaller palettes is that you can really create simple and pretty looks without having to do like calculations of what colors are gonna go with what. So I feel like this is very spring, very just like simple and light, and very pretty colors. Similarly, the Lila's palette, this is more on like your lavender kind of side. So again, you've got two mattes and two shimmers. I think you can do really pretty, simple looks with this. And this is probably season, right? But I figured these are the two that stand out to me the most out of the ones that I have that seem like spring-like. And look at that. I think they go so well together. Now you are gonna get lighter tone looks with these, but still very pretty. Like, especially with these mattes here, much, much lighter than, like, you're not gonna be able to deepen things too much. Sticking with Viseart, the Bohème Dream palette is one that to me screams spring. Maybe because these are like pretty bright jewel tones. Like, they make me think of Easter eggs or even jelly beans. I like the regular jelly beans, like the old school, no muss, no fuss jelly beans that you could get at like CVS, previously Rite Aid. I don't like the Jelly Bellies, the like gourmet jelly beans. No, I just want that. What brand is it? It starts with a W. I don't know what it is, but give me a bag of those. Child, those are so good. Oh. Which ones do you like? Do you like the regular old school ones or the Jelly Bellies? Because I don't like the Jelly Bellies. Anyway, I feel like this is a great palette for spring and even hopping into summer, because you've got these bright, bold colors, and you can definitely match them with some mattes from another palette, because this is an all shimmer palette from Viseart. They have quite a few like all shimmers and all mattes palettes. Now, the newer kind of updated packaging, you are able to pop the shades out, but I have like the old packaging because I've had this for a while. So I'd have to like destroy the palette to get the shades out, but I really like this, and I do have some all matte palettes from Viseart, so I can easily pair things and while staying within the same brand. Another all shimmer palette from Viseart is the Petite Shimmers, the Koi palette. So again, all shimmer, you can put some mattes from another palette. Also, this one and the Petit Four, you can pop the shades out really easily. They're all magnetized, and so if you have another palette of this size, then you can always kind of mix and match and maybe create your own palette of shimmers and mattes. But this is one I have been wanting for years. There was like the original Koi that I heard so many people talk about, and it's one that I was like, oh my god, if they ever come back with that palette, I'm gonna get it, and I got it. So this feels very springy to me as well. Those are Viseart. I also have one palette from Beauty Bay, and it's their Earthy palette. This is the 9-pan one. I believe they have bigger ones too, but I just wanted a green palette because over the last year, I feel like I've been getting more into greens. And initially, I was like, is that a spring palette? But then I was like, you know, it's spring, like the grass is starting to get green again. And that's why I was like, this is a spring palette. Literally the only reason. I'm like, grass is green. This is a green palette. That's spring. Okay. Another one that has some really bright colors that I really like is the Sugar High palette from Menagerie Cosmetics. I really like this palette. Like, I love, love, love the shimmers. The mattes are okay, but I think what I appreciate the most are these shimmers here. Probably my favorite two are Pouch Protective and Ruby. I just really like those. Well, I actually like Sugary Sweet also. No, you know what? I like all the shimmers. I like every single shimmer in here. And I really do feel like this is a great spring palette because also the mattes, like you've got this lavender and then you've got this really pretty blue, the orange and the yellow. I just feel like those are, even the pink, and then you can use this one to deepen things up. Yeah, it's kind of like a deep dusty rose kind of, but yeah, I feel like this is so spring and super fun. The shimmers are, they shim and they're so pretty. Let me know if you have this palette. I really, really, really like it. Okay, now here's one that I think is like, oh, you could take this to work and you can do just a little soft look but still looking like fresh and bright, and it's the Natasha Denona Mini Retro palette. Like, it has these really pretty pinks, and then there's this like goldish shimmer, and then you could start taking it to another level with the green in there. But I feel like this is a really simple palette, you know, more shades of course, but it's only 5. I think you can do some very like subtle work and office friendly looks and still be giving off a very spring vibe with it, right? Right. Do I have any other Natasha Denonas? No. Okay. Now, let's move on to Patricia McGrath. I was like, does she have, like, spring palettes? She has a lot of pink palettes. But I don't know that any of them really say, like, scream spring or even other seasons. I don't know, but I was just perusing through and I was thinking maybe the Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana, sorry. This just has like, again, like some bright colors. I think this can actually take you from spring through fall because you've got some brighter colors, but you also have some depth in there that can deepen things out because it has depth. But just some of these colors jump out to me, like they make me think of Easter eggs. Like, come on, you've seen an Easter egg like this color, or even like this color. I don't know, or this one. Like, it just, yeah. I just feel like there's some spring vibes in there, if not the whole palette. I just remembered a story where my niece was much younger. We went to church and they were doing an Easter egg hunt, like in the church parking lot. Child, when I tell you, so you have to have like an adult with the kids. So I was like, I will be there, okay? When I tell you, I was pushing little kids out the way and dragging my niece along because I was like, listen, we're not gonna get the ones with chocolate, okay? We're gonna get the ones that have money in it. That's it. Okay, continuing with Pat. I thought that this quad, the Divine Rose Luxe Quad Eternal Eden, I think this is so perfect for spring. Like, again, the dusty pinks, like, you know, I have a lot of pink, okay? The shimmers, again, another easy palette to work with. And arguably, you're not gonna get a like huge variety of looks with this. You're gonna get a pink look, but I think it's a really like soft pink, soft and pretty, and I just love her formula either way, and I really like how curated the quads are. So this Eternal Eden is one I definitely feel gives the spring vibe. Another one is the Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad Flor Fantasia. So this one also has this really fun shimmer here. Again, kind of pinkish, but I would say too, like imagine combining these. Like that's super pretty, right? Yeah. So I would think these two quads are ones that are very, very spring-like. Talked about that one. Talked about these. Okay, so Cosmic Beauty, formerly Cosmic Brushes, the Delicious Delights palette. Now this is another one to me that just screams spring going into summer, right? Like just these very bright colors, almost like snow cone-y, which I think is more summer, but I think they just have bright shimmers, bright mattes, and then you can get some deeper shades to kind of, if you want to deepen out the outer V. But this Delicious Delights palette is one that I definitely think is apropos for spring and summer. And I also would say their Serenity palette, but that one for some reason I'm like, that leans more like summer. I would say their Muse and Royal Rose to me seem like later, like in the fall or something. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, y'all. Now, Blend Bunny, I thought, out of the palettes I have from Blend Bunny, the Sugar and Grunge palette is one that seems spring appropriate, just with the colors and such. And I do think that you can wear deeper colors in the spring. Like, I know a lot of us, well, not necessarily, I have literally a gray shirt, but a lot of times people will wear the brighter colors, but also like just deeper jewel tones I think really work in spring as well. And for me, oftentimes, sometimes I don't like wearing like light colors and stuff because inevitably something ends up on it, right? Like right in the chest area usually, especially if I'm drinking like coffee or something, and then I have this bright yellow shirt on with a big old coffee stain. So for me, sometimes the deeper shades work a little bit better for me and for everyone else. I find that this can work for spring. I think it can also work for summer, and there are definitely other palettes that they have that I don't personally have that I think would work for spring. There's one that I'm trying to, oh, I can't remember. Sickly Sweet, is that one of their palettes? Oh, and also this one is like, they're not gonna have it anymore because apparently the G word is like copyrighted by someone or something, but I really like this palette. I hate that they are retiring some of their palettes. Now, I debated these two that I have here. The Ninhydrin palette from Adept Cosmetics. What I was really looking at is like there are two mattes in here I don't care about, but the shimmer shades and the multi-chromes, I think these are so pretty. Very like jewel tone. I think, I don't know, just these seem spring to me. Like initially when you look at it, I don't think so. But then the more I look at it, the more I'm like, huh, these are really pretty colors that would look great in the springtime. Now again, because these are like multi-chromes, you can just throw one all over the eye, or you can add some mattes from somewhere else. These two mattes, I couldn't give two shakes of a tail about them, but you can definitely pull from other palettes. Let me know if you're that kind of person that you don't mind using multiple palettes at once. Now this is another Adept palette, and it is the Cyborg Choir one. And I feel like these are also just like some pretty springy colors going into summer. But what kind of tipped me over to spring is like this shade. Like, this is so light and pretty and Easter eggy. But yeah, this is a newer one to me, but so far I have really enjoyed using the palette. I really like the multi-chromes, which is kind of my thing with Adept. The mattes are okay in this palette, but I've said so many times, I could take or leave the mattes. The other nice thing about Adept's palettes is that the shades or the pans are magnetic. So again, you can like mix and match to fit the color story that you want. Now, I mean, you knew I was going to throw this one in here, okay? If you've watched any of my videos, you know that Danessa Myricks was going to come in here, girl. First of all, she just came out with some pastel Colorfix. I think Jess is going to get them. I'm debating if I want to get the pastel ones because, ooh, I love her Colorfix. I especially love her Colorfix matte. Those are the ones I like the most. Like, I've tried the shimmer and maybe the metallic, and those aren't my favorite for some reason. Isn't there like a multi-chrome one? I just kind of stick to the mattes. So I might get those pastel ones. Apparently there's a sale going on at Sephora. I totally forgot. But this is her most recent groundwork palette. This is the Blooming Romance. And when you use this palette, first of all, it's an eyes, lips, cheeks, everything palette. It's not an eyeshadow palette. So what I like is that you can get some really light, like subtle, soft looks with a lot of this on the top row, and you can definitely deepen things up with the bottom. And the cool thing about this also is that you've got your eyes, your lips, and your cheek colors all in here, so you can really definitely make it more like monochromatic, or you can just make it so that you'll know that they all go together very well in terms of all the colors. So that's it, girl. I have lots of singles that I feel like are really good spring shades. I have lots of other palettes where I'm like, all of these are winter, spring, summer, fall. They all are every season. But just thinking of some of the color stories and what I think of as spring, I think these kind of represent that in my head at this moment in time. So let me know some of the palettes that you kind of think of when you are thinking of spring. What are ones that you tend towards or that you like to use the most? Or colors, like shades that you like for spring? Let me know. I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.